What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a Smackdown live review for Smackdown July 23rd, 2019. This is a little under 9 hours after Smackdown went off the air. And compared to Raw Reunion, this show was definitely a breath of fresh air compared to that. But my biggest question coming out of this show is, what is with the women's matches lately? Raw and SmackDown's women's matches have gotten the shaft lately. We had Charlotte versus Ember Moon announced for this show. That match went about probably 70 seconds, and that was it. Why? Why are we doing this to the women? It seems like since Ronda Rousey left, that the women's evolution is just gone. They don't care anymore. Tonight's show was advertised with Kofi Kingston naming his SummerSlam opponent. We were gonna have Shane McMahon address Kevin Owens, and apparently Shawn Michaels is supposed to be on commentary, but that did not happen. Now, we had the New Day, David Woods, and Big E for part of the show, and then Michael Cole and David Otunga, which David Otunga was there for the entire show on this show as well. No reason why Corey Graves was not there, but of course the reason Byron Saxton wasn't there is because Byron Saxton's father passed away over the weekend, so he got the day off. This show started off with, of course, the worst in the world, Shane McMahon. They were from the American Airlines Arena in Miami. David Otunga, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton are not here, but David Otunga is. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions Big E and Xavier Woods, also the announce table. Shawn Michaels was supposed to be on commentary, but he will instead be on Miz TV later in the show. Now, they had that Miz TV segment, and he got interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. And it was one of the best parts of the show. I think the two segments of the Miz TV segment, which usually I can't stand Miz TV, but this one was pretty good. And Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston a little bit later on in the night, were I think the best two parts of this show. Shane enters the ring, where Hamilton gives him the best in the world introduction. Shane takes Mike, and some fans start chanting CM Punk. Shane talks about how good last night's Raw reunion was, which no, it was not. That thing was a joke. To anyone wondering, oh, well, they hit a 3, they must have did something right. It was all for nostalgia. When we get to next week's Monday Night Raw, and Monday Night Raw is over, and we get to next Tuesday, and we see that the ratings are back below 2.5, what did they accomplish? What did WWE accomplish? If they do nothing with what they did on Monday, what have they accomplished? Absolutely nothing. He was glad to not see the face of Kevin Owens last on Monday Night Raw. Owens popped for Owens. Fans popped for Owens, I mean. Owens has been hiding behind social media. Brings up video challenge that Owens made from last night's Raw. And Shane says it wouldn't be a SummerSlam without the best in the world. And he accepts Owens' challenge. Huge, you can't wrestle chant, which usually I would agree with. I would be mad about the fans saying someone can't wrestle, but in this case, yeah, Shane cannot wrestle. The guy in the main event throws some work punches against Roman Reigns, and my word, were they some awful looking punches. Shane brings up how Owens made the same comments last year. You see footage of August 27th, I believe, 2018. After Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens had a match. Seth beat Kevin Owens in that match. I think it was for the Intercontinental title or something like that. And Owens, after that match, sat down, microphone in hand, and just said, I quit, and left for about maybe 2 weeks. But this time he says, I want this in writing. I don't want this to just be like, you're going to quit and then be back a couple weeks later. I want this in writing. Out comes Kevin Owens. He says, we saw what happened. He was him at his low point, but this is not who he is today. He knew Shane would accept his challenge because he's not only does he want Owens gone, but he loves the spotlight. Owens says he is not going to quit because at SummerSlam he's going to beat the living hell out of Shane. They have words, and Owens says maybe he can beat Shane up right now, but he's on his way to the ring, and Shane tells him if he wants the match at SummerSlam, you're going to just stop right there. Fans start booing. He says, hey, that's power. That's what you have when you have power. Shane says Owens is fired up, and maybe he should fight tonight. And he says, You should fight, and just sits there and he thinks for a second. You're gonna fight the big dog, Roman Reigns. And that was the opening segment. Just a so-so segment. I am hoping this is leading to Kevin Owens beating Shane McMahon at SummerSlam, but I wonder, why is the stipulation only one way? What happens if Kevin Owens wins? There's no stipulation on this that says, like, if Kevin Owens wins, Shane McMahon cannot be on TV anymore. So if Kevin Owens wins, what stops Shane McMahon from showing up on SmackDown the very next Tuesday? This is supposed to be the way they phase him out, but there's no stipulation on this to phase him out. So can someone explain to me why this is happening like this? I want to see Kevin Owens beat Shane in a quick fashion. You see how quick it was at Extreme Rules to see Kevin Owens beat Dolph Ziggler? I want to see that for this match with Stunner, 1, 2, 3, we're done and over with. Shinsuke Nakamura is walking backstage. We go to commercial and back from break, and Elias walks up to Shane and Drew McIntyre backstage, calling him brilliant for booking Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Shane says the match needs something even more special. It needs a special guest referee. Shane makes Drew the referee. Shane says the match also needs a special guest timekeeper, and that will be Elias. Shane says the match will also need a special guest ring announcer, and that will be the best in the world. So basically, you know where that is going. But of course, this is my SmackDown Live, and it's the Shane McMahon show, and we have to see Shane McMahon at least 4 or 5 times on a night. I can't just help himself. This better be, the next 3 weeks better be the last we see of Shane McMahon for the remainder of the year. No more Shane after this. Which, by the way, him wrestling at SummerSlams mean he has wrestled at every single pay-per-view except for Stomping Grounds. Every single pay-per-view. Royal Rumble, I think he was at the Elimination Chamber, wasn't he? Yeah, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, Super Showdown, and Extreme Rules. That's 7 pay-per-views or 7 events. That's too many. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. I don't know why this match is happening. I know Andrade got beat by Apollo really quick last week on SmackDown Live, so I guess that's why this match is happening. Good back and forth match. We did have a commercial break, which of course they have picture-in-picture on SmackDown Live so they can get these matches to go a lot longer. Crew goes to the up top after an angle slam for a 2 count. Nakamura cuts him off and delivers a high knee to the gut. Nakamura charges again, but Crew catches him with and nails a standing moonsault. Nakamura moves out of the way and then hits a Kinshasa for the 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke Nakamura is your winner. I was so wondering if they were going to go the old route of having Shinsuke Nakamura lose and then defend his title against Apollo Crews at SummerSlam. And quite honestly, that would have been a tragedy for the simple fact is Apollo hasn't done anything on the main roster. Yes, he had a great match against Kushida last week on NXT, but that's not enough to get him a championship opportunity. You know, I just got done watching the G1 Climax 29 match, Shingo Takagi versus Jon Moxley, before I got into watching SmackDown this morning. And just watching that and then watching this show from last night, and I'm like, man, SmackDown, WWE needs to step their game up because all these other shows are doing so much better than SmackDown and Raw. And it's just so mind-numbing bad how just 3 years ago around this time, SmackDown was showing us what good wrestling could be like for this main roster. And here we are 3 years later, and it's the Shane McMahon show, and it's just absolutely sad. Nakamura stands tall after the match with his title. Nakamura goes over and beats up on Crews some more, forcing him out of the ring. Nakamura stomping and kicking at Crews at the ringside. Nakamura goes up to the ramp, runs back and nails a Crews with a Kinshasa. Big and Xavier Woods wonder what Crews' friends are. Nakamura leaves with the title to a mixed reaction. So, yes, I don't know what they're doing with Nakamura. Last week they teased Ali. This week he beats up on Apollo Crews. Who the hell knows? We have 2 weeks left, 2 SmackDowns left before we get to SummerSlam. Now, we get to a spot in the back. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are backstage. Rose has been gone all day because she's been handling business. Quote unquote business. She's handling business and she has secured them a match, and if they win that, they get a women's tag team title shot. And the way this was worded, she says they have a match with them, the Iconics, next week. And Sonya Deville asks, so wait a minute, you're telling me we have a tag team title match next week? Mandy Rose says, yep, and if we win, we deserve a tag team title shot. And Sonya Deville just sits there and nods her head and puts her arm over her and hugs her, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Is it a tag team title shot? Is it a chance to win it, be a tag team #1 contenders? Which one is it? Because that made no sense. We have a pre-recorded promo for LA who talks about rewriting the history in his story and earning a WWE title shot to become WWE champion. And only he will write his story, and if his pen runs out, that's fine because he'll use his own blood to finish the story. So, Ali, I still don't know where they're going with this. They did tease a Intercontinental title match between him and Nakamura last week. Give me that if you want to. I don't see where they're going to go with this for Ali. It's still, get this guy in the ring. Where was Aleister Black this week? Nowhere. We have Miz TV plugs his Mr. and Mrs. Reunion show. He shows highlights from Raw Reunion. Brings out Shawn Michaels. And while Shawn Michaels is coming out, Biggie and Xavier Woods are still on commentary. And they're just going completely crazy. You have Biggie like taking his belt, doing an air guitar on it. You have Xavier Woods singing Sexy Boy. It's just so funny. They start talking, and out comes Dolph Ziggler. He runs down the Legends as he enters the ring. Miz offers to punch Ziggler in the face. Shawn says Ziggler clearly has something to get off his chest, so let him do it. Ziggler says, we all used to look up to Shawn, but that's the key word. Used to, not any longer. Ziggler says Shawn has turned into an embarrassment. Says Shawn broke his heart when he came back to the ring in November. I mean, yeah, it kind of broke everybody's heart who believed Shawn. We all believed Shawn was going to be the one guy who would never come back to the ring no matter how much they wanted to pay him. He would never come back, and unfortunately, he did. Says Shawn was embarrassing. The entire match was embarrassing. Yes, that entire match was embarrassing. Shawn says, you know what? I'll admit it. I can't disagree with you. It was embarrassing. Because yes, it was absolutely embarrassing. Kane losing his mask, Triple H getting injured, Shawn Michaels doing a moonsault almost landing on his head because the Brothers of Destruction wouldn't catch him. But he says what's more embarrassing is for him to be working his whole career, giving everything he's got, and still left with nothing but being known as a second-rate Shawn Michaels wannabe. Shawn Ziggler says, no. There is only one second-rate Shawn Michaels out here. And says, I'm looking at him right now. Miz yells and tells Ziggler to do something about it. Miz is tired of hearing Ziggler talk. Ziggler and the Miz face off as fans cheer them on, hoping for a fight. Ziggler goes after Shawn instead of, but misses and drops Miz instead. Shawn continues, but Ziggler drops him with a sweet chin music. Ziggler looks down at Shawn. Miz goes up Ziggler, but he escapes the ring and looks out from the ramp, checks on Shawn as we go to commercial break. We go to commercial break, back from break, and we have Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair. This match lasted about 90 seconds, if that. They have a nice little back and forth for a minute, and then Bayley comes out. Bayley comes out, distracts Charlotte Flair, who had Ember Moon down. Ember Moon rolls up Charlotte Flair, 1, 2, 3. Why? Why? Why are these women getting disrespected? Ember Moon and Charlotte could be 15-20 minutes if you gave them the chance. These two should have been able to get as much time as that fatal 4-way that we saw last week on Raw got. You give 4 women who haven't been used or aren't talented at all, 20-some minutes in a fatal 4-way elimination match on Monday Night Raw. But SmackDown, even though you have picture-in-picture, you give Charlotte Flair and Ember Moon 60 seconds or 60 to 90 seconds. Really? After the match, Bayley gets thrown into the ring by Ember Moon, gets kicked in the head. Ember ends up hitting both women with the Eclipse, and that was that. Stop disrespecting your women's on SmackDown. Why did the Raw women, who have the least amount of talent, get more time over the likes of a Ember Moon and a Charlotte? That match should have been a lot better. That match should have been the match we talk about this week, and no, that's not what happened. Let's see here. We go to the ring, and out comes Kofi Kingston. Michael Cole and David Otunga are on call with Tom Phillips. Unfortunately, Brian Saxton is not here because his father passed away last week, so thoughts and prayers go out to Byron's family. I know we give him a hard time, everyone does, but it's never something to joke about when someone's family member passes away. Fans chant for Kofi. Kofi says before he puts down Samoa Joe tonight, he wants to issue a challenge to a man who he hopes will accept his SummerSlam challenge. He calls out Randy Orton. Fans pop. We get it seemed to take a good while before Randy Orton's music hits. He finally comes down to the ring. Looking over his shoulder, Kofi talks about their history and how he had MSG cheering for him back in 2009, and we see a video clip from almost 10 years ago in November of 2009, where Kofi in MSG had Randy Orton laying on a table. He does the boom drop from the stands to Randy Orton, laying him out. He says this was supposed to be when he was supposed to move to the main event scene, take it to the next level, but Orton, that didn't happen, did it? Used his influence to hold Kofi back from the main event. I love that they finally brought this up. This has been necessary for a good while. This was something we needed to see from Kofi Kingston, bringing up the past, bringing up what was supposed to happen 10 years ago. Kofi said it was almost worked, but since that day in 2009, he kept fighting, grinding. He found the power of positivity, and he found himself into one of the main events of WrestleMania, winning the WWE Championship, and doing something that Orton did not want him to do. Orton gives the mic and says, "So you think I used my influences, huh? You're damn right I did. Because Kofi, I saved you from yourself because you weren't ready then, and you're not ready now." He says that title was a fluke, because if it wasn't for me injuring Ali, you wouldn't have been in the Elimination Chamber. I was the reason you were in that spot. Orton goes on about his 18-year career over Kofi's 11 and says he never had to fake a Jamaican accent or throw pancakes or shake his ass. He says he can take the title from Kofi anytime he wants, also saying Kofi only got his WrestleMania shot because of Ali getting injured. Kofi issues the challenge for SummerSlam. Orton accepts, says Kofi, fairy tale will come to an end thanks to the 3 most dangerous letters, R-A-O. Kofi, Randy Orton was about to leave, but Samoa Joe comes out as we're getting Samoa Joe versus Kofi Kingston, and he wants to be at ringside. Nice back and forth match between these two. Kofi wins by DQ as Orton suddenly hits the ring and goes for an RKO, but misses, and the referee calls for the bell. After the bell, Orton and Kofi square off. RKO attempt on Joe from behind. As Joe comes from behind, Orton drops him with the RKO. Kofi takes advantage and puts Orton right back down with a Trouble in Paradise. Kofi celebrates, and that was that. So I thought their promo was absolutely fantastic. One of the best parts of the entire week. The Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels thing actually made me excited for a Shawn Michaels Dolph Ziggler match, even though I don't think that's happening. And then, of course, Orton versus Kofi Kingston is the perfect thing to put the final bow on the Kofi Kingston title reign, which really hasn't been one of the best. I don't see Kofi Kingston making it out of Toronto as champion with Randy Orton beating him for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Finn Balor comes out go to break and we come back. Kayla Braxton approaches and asks about his rough past few weeks, losing the Intercontinental title and then being attacked by returning Bray Wyatt. Balor isn't sure how he ended up in Wyatt's crosshairs, how his mind works, if it's an old school he's settled or something new. Balor says everything Bray Wyatt has done as of late, he can't explain any of it. Balor says clearly Wyatt is more twisted and messed up than ever before, but Balor has stared fear down in his eye before, and he didn't hold back down and won't back down. Balor challenges Wyatt to a match at SummerSlam, and then the Firefly Funhouse scene plays on the Titantron, and we get Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. He is there with the puppets and says he and the puppets are huge fans of Balor, but the Fiend isn't, even though we tell him how like, I don't even know what the word is, stupendous you are. Says he and the puppets, the Fiend is officially accepting your challenge and warns him the Fiend is no man. He is an abomination. He's power, and he remembers. The screen flashes as Wyatt transforms into the Fiend. He says, just let me in. Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor times 3. This is the problem, we're getting another rematch from 2 years ago. Of course, this match was supposed to be Sister Abigail versus the Pumpkin Demon, but the Mumps said this is not happening, and we got AJ Styles versus Finn Balor in a damn good match at the 2017 TLC pay-per-view. So the word going around is we will not see the Demon at SummerSlam. It's just going to be the Man, which is fine. You have the Man get beat by the Fiend, and then he's going to be going off for about 2 months, probably get married, and then you go to whatever pay-per-view you want next when he comes back in probably October, and you have the Fiend versus the Demon, with the Fiend being the first person to beat the Demon. That has to happen. Bray Wyatt is not to lose this for a while. Charlotte Flair walks up to Sarah Shriver backstage and rants about being left off SummerSlam card. Flair promises she demands to be at SummerSlam. She says her opponent will be better than Ember Moon, and she will prove why she's the greatest superstar of all time, and she walks off. Apparently, this is going to be Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus right now is in talks with WWE to have a match at SummerSlam, and that looks to be against Charlotte Flair. Do I want to see Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair? Not really. But if it keeps Charlotte Flair out of the SmackDown Women's title picture for a little bit longer, then fine. Let's see Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. If it keeps her out of the title picture for now, then fine. Then we have what was our main event. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. This match wasn't even really a match. It was pretty much a segment. They try to wrestle. Drew McIntyre keeps getting involved. They beat down on Drew McIntyre. Elias gets involved. It's a 3-on-2 beatdown. Looks like, Elias and Drew McIntyre have Roman Reigns in the corner. And you just see that Shane McMahon throwing these weak as can be punches, uppercut punches to Roman Reigns, that it makes it look like punches I could throw would be more devastating than what Shane McMahon could throw. Long story short, Shane McMahon gets thrown to the outside. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens beat up Elias and Drew McIntyre, and then we get 2 stunners to Shane McMahon, and that was that. Let's see here. Owens takes the mic and says at SummerSlam he's going to make sure everyone loves the ass whooping he gives Shane McMahon that night. Drops the mic, and his music hits. Owens plays at the crowd for another pop as we go to replays and stunner of the Shane as the Smackdown goes off the air with Owens standing tall. Now, outside of the women's match, which went about 90 seconds, which they could have went a lot longer. I don't know why they keep doing this. There's no reason Ember Moon and Charlotte Flair should only be going 90 seconds at the most. But SmackDown Live, way better than Monday Night Raw. It's a damn shame how this show just continues to fall in the ratings while Raw. And it's like, the next big SmackDown event we're going to have is going to be the 20th anniversary, probably on October 4th, in about 3 months. This show was a good show. It wasn't a bad show. I just want Shane McMahon off my TV for a very, very long time. The thing, 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, in, what was it, March, Shane McMahon made his return to WWE to one of the biggest pops of all time. And now this guy's on TV all the time, and I'm just downright sick of it, and I know everyone else is. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, find me on twitch.tv/thefranceclub, find me on Twitter at thefranceclub. Smackdown Live, again, better than Monday Night Raw this week, and Smackdown Live, what else can you say? Kofi versus Randy Orton should be a hell of a match at SummerSlam. Ember Moon versus Bayley should be better. I will say something that SmackDown did that Raw didn't do is we got more advancement towards SummerSlam than we did on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw sacrificed almost all, if not all, of SummerSlam build for nostalgia. But SmackDown showing you that SummerSlam matters over the old geezers that need to just stay the fuck away. Yes, a 3.0 is better than a 2.4, but when it's for 1 week only, what's the fucking point? That is all for your SmackDown Live review. Good show. Definitely can't wait to see what we get next week as we move on. Of course, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville take on the Iconics, the Idiotics, and we'll see what happens. But Smackville coming on this Saturday. Like I said, I'll check it out. If it's any good, I'll talk about it on Sunday. If it's not, then I'm not going to. But I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT look back and see what's going on as we get closer to TakeOver Toronto 2, where Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano will be 2 out of 3 falls, 3 stages of hell. Until then, my name is Franz, and I'll see you guys later.